Hi everybody, it's James here from Centurion Running. Welcome to this midpoint of kind of 2021. I'm going to give you a quick review of this year so far and then a quick preview of what's to come and just discuss the transition away from full COVID protocols and finally just bring you up to date on some news with regards to race directors in 2021 and 2022 and what we'll be doing going forward. So first off, thank you to all of you. As we've said all the way through this pandemic, the community has supported us and we've tried to give you guys back as much as we possibly could. There were the virtual events that initially we could never have seen ourselves getting involved in and turned out to be a lifeline for all of us in every way. When we finally got back to in-person racing in April, it was with very heavy COVID protocols in place. You know, the rolling starts, social distancing, masks, sanitisation coming in and out of every checkpoint, no dwell times at the finish, no supporters. It wasn't great, but it was far better, obviously, than not being able to proceed at all. As the races continued, we had the Track 100 where we saw an incredible world record 100-mile run from Alexander Sorokin and a British women's record from Sam Amend, amongst many other age group performances. It's just so incredible to watch. And then rolled straight a week later into the Thames Path, where we saw the first ever sub 14-hour trail 100 at one of our events by Richard McDowell. And then North Downs Way 50, another course record there. And then South Downs Way 100 in mid-June, where we had the biggest ever starting field that we've had and the highest ever number of finishers across the line at one of our events. 433 starters at the South Downs Way 100 was tremendous for us and somewhat daunting, but thanks to a massive army of volunteers, 120 people and all the staff on the day, we pulled it off successfully, and it was a huge moment for us. COVID protocols wise, we are now starting to wind down a lot of the things we've had in place. So this weekend we have our Wendover Woods 100 and Night 50k. At the Wendover Woods 100 we will have a mass start again. There'll be only 50 starters, so quite different obviously to South Downs Way. But we will have a mass start. There will be an in-person race briefing. We won't be mandating masks in any outdoors locations. So that's both checkpoints and the start-finish area. Whilst we'll be keeping distancing in place, it should feel like a big step towards a more normal event for us. The big change for us at South Downs Way 100, and that we'll be doing, for all the future events, is that volunteers are now able to refill water bottles, flasks, and bladders. That may seem a small thing, but it's the act of runners filling up their own flasks that creates the congestion at checkpoints and prevents us from having a mass start. So as we start doing that more, we will see the smaller starting windows. Wendover Woods 50k and the North Downs 100 will have start windows, but reduced ones, or elimination of those and back to mass starts. We will take a view on mass starts for Chiltern Wonderland Autumn and Wendover Woods 50 once we get the final government update and the protocols through on the permits from England Athletics. That's due to take place from the 19th of July. So we're all moving in the right direction. We know that as a country we're doing the same, and it allows the events to return to more of a semblance of normality. 99% of the events are outdoors. In terms of time, naturally socially distanced anyway. So if anything can return to a normal function, it should be these events. Thank you to all of you for putting up with these protocols and working with us on them and adhering to the massive raft of things we've asked you to do. You'll notice already, if you scan ahead to North Downs Way 100, a much more reduced list of protocols that are in place. I just wanted to speak to 2021-22 from a race director's point of view. We began in 2011. Since then, we've held approximately 40 odd 100-milers, about 25 50s, and a bunch of other kind of one-off events. The Piece of String Fun Run, Track 100, Wendover Woods, that kind of thing. And I've been the race director for all of them for a decade now, with the exception of the 2015 Autumn 100, where Nikki Griffin and Drew Sheffield, who are kind of the linchpins in what we do here, stepped up and co-directed that event whilst I actually ran it. I'm delighted to say that moving ahead, Nikki and Drew will take race directorship on and begin to take ownership of several of our events. They've absolutely earned the right to do that, and I know any of you familiar with our races will know just how incredible they are, and the level of work they perform to every week, every race, and always have done. So just to be clear, the Chiltern Wonderland 50 this September will be co-directed by Nikki and Drew. Then in 2022, Nikki Griffin will become the race director for the Track 100. Drew and Nikki will co-race direct also Wendover Woods, Night 50K and Chiltern Wonderland 50 in 2022. What will happen with me? I will simply be there to support them, but work more on the content side of things, ensuring our race coverage is the best it can be, working with the media team and acting as a support role for them as they need it. So I'll still be there for everything, but full ownership of the event will transfer to those guys. I'm also delighted to announce that we'll be bringing one new member of staff in 2022. His name is Paul Alban, and some of you might be familiar with him because he is the race director at Big Bear Events. Paul set Big Bear up several years ago. He's based out of Rugby, and they have many 6-hour events, but also other ultra distance events all over the kind of Midlands area. He's built an incredible community there. His races are first class. I've been there to watch and to run, and he's somebody that we feel just perfectly gets that balance of community versus safe and well-organised event. He was the shortlist in its entirety of people we wanted to approach to come in and help us to make our races better going forward. Paul will come in and race direct the 2022 North Downs Way 50 and the 2022 Wendover Woods 50. Big Bear will continue in all its capacity. Paul will continue to race direct there. It's his company and will continue to be. So he's kind of coming in to kind of guest on 2 of our races. We're extremely privileged to have him. Again, what does this mean? Nikki, Drew and myself will still be there for every race together with the other dozen or so staff members that make race weekends what they are. Paul will come in, bring his expertise to the table and just help us improve the events for you, the runners. He has run our events before and totally understands what it is we do and how we do it. And he was, many of you would have noticed, at the North Downs Way 50 this year working with me so he could see the full ins and outs of that event. So thank you for kind of welcoming them in due course. Please give them a big pat on the back when you see them, assuming we're allowed to stop touching each other again. I'm delighted to share that news with you. Those appointments are kind of with immediate effect. So all the behind scenes stuff will transfer to those guys. And once again, I will be there in a supporting role for them. Thank you to all of you one last time for now. We look forward to seeing many of you over the last 5 events of this year and welcoming you to all the 2022 events. And just to put this teaser out there, to the other couple of new events that we will be adding for 2022. We will launch and announce those later this summer. Thanks everybody, take care.